Good morning, my love. So today I'm on this beautiful trail. It's my favorite trail, actually, that I'm walking here today, and I love it because I don't walk it that much because it's not as convenient to get to. But today started off great. Dropped off my daughter at her lovely in-home daycare. Went to this beautiful cafe close by. Had my latte. Had a nice breakfast. Did some laptop phone work there. And I was there for like 2 hours and just had the best customer service from my server, who was just really didn't seem to have a problem that I was there for almost 2 hours. So I just love starting off, a nice, like a day like this, especially when it's kind of been a long week. Today's Thursday. But I was thinking a lot this week and last night and this morning about self-worth and where it derives from, where it roots from. And, if you are struggling with feeling worthy, with feeling valuable, with, attracting healthy, people into your life, let's say you're struggling with, attracting just emotionally unavailable people into your life and just abusive, right? Let's just say crappy people. And you're like, oh my God, I want to break this pattern. I want to break this cycle. I'm tired of not feeling worthy. I'm tired of not feeling seen, heard, understood, all those things, right? You're just sick of it. And so if that's the case, then good. You're watching a good video here today. Because I want to talk to you about how to heal this pattern and this, this unconscious or the subconscious, pattern or thing that seems to happen, and you want to get over it, right? So that's what I want to talk to you about in this video today on my walk. But real quick though, if you are brand new to me, this is your first video you're landing on, I do want to take a moment and introduce myself. So you're like, why should I even listen to this girl who's breathing heavy and on this walk and, talking. So if you're brand new to me, my name is Nikki McMillan. I am a life and confidence coach for women. I've been doing this women's work for almost 7 years now. It's crazy to say. But yeah, 7 years. A little bit more about me personally. I am 40 years old, have a 2.5-year-old daughter, been in a healthy relationship for almost a decade, and that sometimes just seems to surprise me still to this day. And you'll see why and this video and this topic that I share with you today about self-worth and where it derives from. And we're just growing our family. I love my life. It's not easy. There's challenges, but I love, how I choose to show up as my authentic self, no matter if it seems to disappoint people at times or upset them, or whatever, right? And that's really what I try and teach all my clients. That's what the work is. It's how to rediscover your true self-worth and build this confidence within, right? This trust and self-belief within, so that you can show up and live life on your terms in a way that feels aligned and fulfilling and purposeful for you. All right, so that's a little bit about me and this channel and the work I do. So let's dive into where this self-worth wound comes from. And again, if you're someone who has this habit of attracting unhealthy relationships and just a lot of BS in your life to where it just makes you feel terrible and kind of like a victim, I want to explain to you where that comes from. This isn't something that just happens. This actually, the root cause of this, or where it derives from, or where it stems from, is your childhood. Because listen, the truth is, if you were not brought up in a environment to where you felt safe, to where your caregiver or caregivers, parents, whoever, were emotionally available to you, and even physically available to you, you're going to struggle in life as it goes on in your relationships, with your confidence, and with making self-honoring choices. It's just what happens. I'll give you a personal example. So I was brought up in an environment to where both my parents were addicted to drugs and alcohol, and they struggled with it their entire lives. They were both in and out of jail, in and out of rehab, which therefore had myself, my brother, and my sister shuffled from, different homes all the time. If we weren't with mom because she was in rehab or, jail for a little bit, we were with dad or we were with grandma and grandpa. Same thing. If we weren't with dad, then we were with mom. So, like all that stuff, right? Like, I'm sure you get the picture. So no stability, no consistency, none of that stuff. And that happened for many, many, many years. So you can imagine how that type of environment of neglect, abandonment, abuse. I wouldn't say that I had severe physical abuse. There was the belt. There was, I'm sure other people, maybe you had it worse, but there wasn't a ton of like physical abuse, but all the other abuse, it was there. And it really set up myself and my siblings for a very troubling older childhood years, teen years, young adult years, right? I struggled with unhealthy relationships and just the relationship with myself for 30 years, right? And maybe you're like, oh, big whoop, I'm 50 and I'm still struggling. And if that's the case, my love, I'm glad you're watching this video today because I really want to help you to overcome and have a breakthrough of this struggling pattern. So that's where this low self-worth and feeling enough stems from. If it wasn't the example from your primary caregivers growing up, if there wasn't anyone really there for you, then of course you're going to have a life of adversity, right? It's just, it makes sense, doesn't it? And what I want to say before I move forward is knowing that now, and maybe you have known this, right? Like maybe I'm not the only person, talking about this, right? You're like, duh, yeah, I read this in all the books and all these other videos. But I'm glad that you're watching this now because if you can connect that dot, like, okay, these choices I made that had made me feel a lot of shame, embarrassment, and just terrible. And I'm in a really low place of like self-esteem and worthiness and all that because maybe choices and experiences you had. Can you, for a moment, like close your eyes and just step outside of this part of you and look down and just pour love onto this little girl who didn't have love growing up? Can you just have so much compassion and empathy and patience for her, right? For your inner child. Because if you can practice this as often as you can, little by little, you will get to that place of starting to love yourself more, care for yourself better, right? Get some healthy habits in place. Really start to learn how to respect yourself and maybe stand up for yourself. Speak up where you need to speak up. Set some boundaries where you need to. And really just start advocating for yourself, right? And like you'll be able to have that courage and that confidence if you can really just start like tending to your inner child and learning how to reparent yourself. And this is a process, right? Like I'm not saying this is an overnight thing, but if you could just start this process 10 minutes, a few days a week, it's going to make a huge difference. Good morning. It's going to make a huge difference in your life as the days, weeks, months, and years go by. I promise. And then eventually you'll become like myself and some of my clients. I'm not saying this to boast, but I'm just want to let you know what's on the other side of doing your deep work. You will end up learning how to make your self-care a priority, how to replace bad habits with good, loving, self-respecting, self-honoring ones, and then eventually call in healthy love, a healthy partner, and mutually beneficial friendships with other women, and set boundaries with maybe certain people in your family to where you're like, no, I no longer want to take part in this toxic dynamic with certain family members, right? Or maybe, not even maybe, but you will eventually. Sometimes this might take a little longer, it just depends on the situation. But then maybe you'll love and honor yourself enough to where you're like, okay, I want to start looking for a different job or career and shift, because what I've been doing for the past decade no longer feels aligned for me. It's not for me. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of waking up with the anxiety attacks on Monday. I'm tired of going to a place where they don't appreciate me or value me. Like, you're going to put your notice in and you're going to start moving into and shifting into something you really do enjoy. Okay. So it's just amazing what can happen when you finally, like when you understand the root cause of why you feel the way you do today and why you've been showing up the way you've been showing up over the years. Like when you get that, and then, because awareness is the first thing, but then the second thing is, okay, well, what am I going to do about it? So I can start shifting the trajectory of my life and my future, right? Then you got the step-by-step piece. And that's the real work. That's the work that takes weeks, months, years. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be hosting a workshop, free women's workshop, April 9th, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for 90 minutes on Zoom it's a workshop on how to truly embody self-respect. So if that's interesting to you and you think you can join, click on the link in the description here of this video. I'll also put it in the comments so you can register for it. And there will also be a replay if you can't make it live, but I would love to have you there live, so then that way we can interact in real time and I can work with you. We can do this work together in this call, and then also, answer any questions that you have as well. Okay, so I'll put the link to that in the description below if you're able to make that, or if you want the replay. But yeah, I mean, it's so crazy how, all of us, we are born enough. We are born worthy. We are born lovable, deserving. But how for so many, it gets taken away from you, like immediately, that feeling of safety and worth and love, because, your parents, whoever it was caring for you, they weren't equipped to meet your needs. And that's the case for so many, as it was for me and maybe as it was for you. So now, like, really the journey and the purpose of life now moving forward is to how to get back to not even like, I say rediscovering your self-worth a lot, but it's just remembering, right? And that's the real work. So I'm going to be teaching a little bit about that as much as I can in 90 minutes in my workshop on April 9th at 10 a.m. But, if you're like, yeah, workshop, love that, but I know I'm going to need more than a workshop. Well, I also have my signature coaching program where it's one-to-one, working with me exclusively, one-to-one over 3 months to 12 months, just depends on what type of accountability and support you need and for how long, in a Confident Woman Unleash. That's my signature program that I've been helping change lives in for the past, like I said, almost 7 years now, which is crazy. Time flies. Okay, but for today, let's wrap this up because I know you got things to do and we're going on 15 minutes. For today, my love, I hope that if you didn't know, or maybe you just needed the reminder that a lot of why you feel the way you feel today, not worthy, not enough, like, just like, ugh, like, why is this so hard? And why you maybe make the choices you make, or, like abandon yourself or let people, take advantage of you. It's because this is learned behavior. Okay, learned behavior that stemmed from when you were like kid, like yay high. All right. So now really the purpose of life is to get back to remembering that you really are enough and worthy and lovable. Okay. So it's doing those steps. So how you can start this today is one little step you can take today. And this isn't something I made up. This is Louise Hay. I don't know if you've heard of her and her work. Start with some mirror work. So like when you're done watching this video, like right now, when you're done watching this, go to the mirror, look at yourself in the eyes and say, I love you. You are worthy. We are going to start showing up for ourselves in little baby steps each day. I don't know what that looks like yet, but we are going to learn it. I love you. I love you. You are enough. You are enough. You always have been. You just didn't know that. And you're not really starting to realize that until now. Okay, so trust me, we're in this together. And we're going to start creating and carving a new path for ourselves. One that feels safe. One that feels good. One that feels more loving, more fun, more playful, more joy, and with more rest. You can start that way right now today by saying that to yourself in the mirror. And hey, you can do that every day in the mirror. And as you start doing that, your next steps to really creating a life that feels more aligned and self-honoring and self-respecting, the answers of the next steps of how to continue this journey of healing and self-love, they're going to come to you. But you need to initiate that first step. And that's self-awareness around this, that this has been a problem for a while. But then also it's actually taking the next step. And that's talking to your inner child on a deeper level, looking in the mirror, in your eyes, and starting there with I love you. We're going to figure this out. You're worthy. You're enough. You always have been. You just didn't know that because it wasn't, the example. Okay. All right. Okay, my love, these glasses back on. So I hope this, takeaway, next action step was helpful for you today and practical. And listen, if you want to go deeper, join me on Wednesday, April the 9th at 10 a.m. For my workshop, Truly Embody Self-Respect. It's 90 minutes. It's free. And you're going to be with me live. Okay. And we can work together in that capacity to start with. All right. Okay. Sign up here below in the description or click the link in the comments. And I hope to see you there. All right, babe. Enjoy your day. Bye.